So most of the energies that I pick up on here at this cemetery are actually not residents of the cemetery itself. A lot of them have crossed over and been buried around the surrounding areas. And it feels to me like it goes way back to there's one energy here. His name is Gordon. He's kind of over here in the distance. And he was here and lived on this land. Actually not too far this way. He says about 1,500 meters. 1,500 meters down in this direction, which way is that? It's northwest. So he used to live here, and he says that he was here in the time of 567 BC. He died of, at the time it was natural causes, exhaustion really, lack of food and lack of fresh water. Finally took its toll on them. He didn't die from an illness, he just died of pretty much natural causes. Gordon says that he's very happy to have us here, very excited that we're here to learn from him. Actually, there's a number of energies that started to gather around, collect. Again, it's a meeting place and they all want to come and watch and see what's going on. Gordon invites us over this way a little bit further. So let's go see what he's doing. Now, I'm a medium and a channel. Channel means that I'm able to connect with the other side and act as a telephone between the other side and you. One of my favorite things about that is when I do channel and do readings. I go into somewhat of a light trance and remove my consciousness from the situation and go into what I call the waiting room, so that I allow the energy to come in as untainted as possible for the best and most accurate messages to come through. And then when I come back into my body, then I don't have any memory of what happened, so it's actually kind of good for you. It turns out to be quite confidential. So Gordon's invited us over here. I see that his wife here has she set up a picnic blanket. It seems to be a blanket that she made. It's a woolen blanket that she made, and she has she's got some fresh cow's milk and some sort of cake that she's made, or it's a sweet bread that she's calling a cake, and some tea. And so she's inviting us to join them. Actually, it's kind of a cute little spot here, I guess, in the spring. She says that they come quite often, her and Gordon, they come quite often for picnics because it is one of their favorite spots. There used to be a lot of trees and then a trail not too far this way used to be a horse trail. And they would once in a while see their neighbors, and it wasn't very often that they would see people. They had a very nomadic lifestyle. Gordon he's telling me he's of a Dutch descent, and his wife, I'm not getting a really clear name on her at this particular time. They do say that they're very happy to have company and they'd like to talk a little bit about their life and the things that they've learned through the years. Gordon's just taking me on a little bit of a tour here of his land. They do have, feels like a few, it's almost a mini colony. It's not, I wouldn't call it a colony, except that I really can't find a better human word for it. It's a little colony of close friends and family that they travel with. And when they settle in a place, they help each other, and that's their. It's too small to be a community, he says. But he says the word colony is actually not a bad reference word for what they've established. They have one cow, and amongst the 7 families, potentially an 8th one would have been coming soon. They share some chickens, and they do grow their food. They live a very modest lifestyle. It's a very peaceful lifestyle. He says there's really no danger here. The animals tend to be the most dangerous part of life here. The translation of the name that they have given to the colony in English, he says, best translates to New Alexander. I couldn't, for the life of me, begin to try to say in his language the name that he's giving to me now. There's a connection here between them and the Pennsylvania Dutch. So it seems like there's a trail, or there was a trail, that they would walk and take their horses, and they'd always bring a goat with them. And it would go actually from here right into the United States, in and around, I think it seems to be Utah. It's interesting, it must have taken a long time. His wife, again, I'm not getting a clear name on her at all. I know there's a V sound in it, and there's like a Taylor kind of sound. I'm really having a difficult time connecting too much with her verbally, although I can see her quite clearly. She says that one of the ways that they make, or that they made money here, was she's very good at making butter, and the secret that she has to a butter, of course, is she adds a little bit of salt to it, and that gives it a very rich flavor. And then she's very careful of what she feeds the cow to make sure that the cow receives the nutrients that sweeten the milk, and when she churns it into butter, it is the most glorious, silky and sweet butter in the entire surrounding area here. So it sounds like they do make a lot of trades and sell butter that way. They had 2 children. I believe the girl's name was England, and the boy is again, I'm not really getting a clear connection on the boy's name. It's interesting. They've invited us to come back and visit again. There seems to be a lot of excitement between them, and I think that it's kind of inhibiting the ability to hear both, or one of them. They both seem to be talking at different, almost different frequencies. I kind of hear like one voice a little bit higher, and then one in the background a little bit lower. But they have invited us back for more information. We'll have to come back one day. Maybe I can get a last name on them. Cemetery is a great place to learn information, hang out for a wonderful, peaceful afternoon. Picnics are apparently a great idea here. Let's see if anybody else is here that would like to say hello. We've got a man coming forward. He's wearing a plaid shirt and gray slacks. 67 years old when he passed away. He's a local farmer, actually. His name is Taylor. And he comes, and he is just coming from this direction right here. Coming just to say hello. Wants to shake my hand. Welcome us to his neck of the woods. Let us know that anything that we need, to let him know. It's funny because he says the one thing that he would like to see, he'd like us to bring as a newspaper for him next time. He hasn't seen a newspaper in a really long time, and that was one of the things that they would do. He and his wife and his neighbors had some pretty close neighbors, and they would get together and read the newspaper. And they didn't get it very often, but they really enjoyed it. It sounds like it was a once a week type newspaper, except in the winter it didn't come as regularly because it had to come from the city, which was quite a distance away back then. Okay, well, it's nice to meet you, Taylor. Certainly we'll come back and have coffee with you. He's inviting us back for coffee one day. I'm not a fan of the perked coffee on the stove that he's offering, but of course, in an energetic way, it would be a wonderful experience to come back. Pigs. He farmed pigs, actually. Grew his own crop. He would often feed the pigs rye because it was a cheap crop to grow for them. It also enhanced the flavor of the meat and made it very much a roasting meat. I guess when you feed pigs rye, it enhances the flavor. And he says the pork today is not supposed to be white. Interesting. He says pork is supposed to have a little bit of a darker color, a little bit of a firmer texture than the pork we have today. He says a lot of the reason that the pork is the flavor it is, and he says the flavor is totally off. It tastes it tastes as if it was stored in an outhouse, he says. So the flavor profile and the texture and color of the meat is all wrong, and a lot of the reason for that is because of the food that they've been feeding. Pigs is not conducive to producing a food grade hog. Okay. He does suggest putting honey on pork when you roast it in the oven. It will help to correct and enhance the flavor of the meat that we have available in North America to us today. I guess that's it. I didn't really get any other energies coming forward to say hello. We will come back. Maybe they're a little bit camera shy. Thanks for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again. Cheers.